It's weird. Like, to me personally, the internet feels like that. Like, it's three big corporations and then the duck. It's like it's all
We're like that little house in Up. You remember
yeah,
that?
exactly.
We are like Aster
Oh,
Villas,
yeah.
surrounded by Roman.
Hello and welcome to the Drunkduck QUACKCAST. This is QUACKCAST number 564. I'm Ozone Ocean and with me is Baines and Tanserine.
Hello.
Hello.
This is the 2022 QUACKCAST. This is the first QUACKCAST of the new year, which is incredible, isn't it, guys?
It is.
My goodness me. And this is the 20th year, the 20th anniversary of our site now.
Yes.
All
This
right.
is it.
Wow.
Drunkduck has been around.
We are almost old enough to drink in the US, but we can drink everywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Everywhere else, the drinking age is lower, but yeah, the US is quite a bit older. Which is cool. But, yeah, so we are 20 years old, older than every other webcomic site, pretty much. You know, there's this KeenSpot, which is, similar, but they're not really a thing anymore, really, I don't think. So it's hard to count them. See, us as a free host, they had KeenSpace, which became Comic Genesis, and I think that's maybe still limping, so they're sort of like an odd twin to us. But yeah, we're going stronger than them anyway. 20 years, my god. Wow.
Yeah. 2 score. Or is that 1 score?
2 score. No, 1 score. Yeah, you're right, Vance. It's 1 score. We
Score
score. Score! Score 1 for us. We are the granddaddies. Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. Mark of pride, man. Still here because of you, I would say.
Oh, thank you, but it's really like a team effort, and it's always been a team effort. You know, there's at every stage there's been someone to help, you know, which is good. Like Just No Point was really, really cool in getting us back on our feet and getting all the programmers together. Well, actually doing programming for the site, and he got this other guy, Jamie Smart, I think. Oh, damn it, I can't remember his name exactly, but he was really cool, who did Comic Rocket. So he came on to help as well, and we got a whole lot of... We're able to sort of marshal everybody, and I was able to get, you know, all the stuff from Alio to help us continue, and yeah, it was tricky, and was able to sort of get information from all the old programmers, like Lawrence Leach and others, and yeah, and when we did get back on our feet again, then I was able to marshal all these other people, you know, you and Tance and M and all this, and we were all together helping. So it was always a group kind of thing, which is so fantastic. But before we get into more of us slapping ourselves on the back, we've got to mention the featured comics. So Kwai is going to give us the feature Stick Figure Apocalypse. Now, give us the feature, Kwai.
Hello, this is QUACKCAST, and the feature I've selected for this week is Stick Figure Apocalypse by Matt Davis, and it is rated E for everyone. There is a town called Eau Claire in northwestern Wisconsin, east of Menominee, and neighbor to Chippewa Falls. Fresh in recent history, the Stick Figure Apocalypse is a journal comic that began at the start of the global pandemic of 2020 and serves as a written record of the local events and global events from that year. This comic highlights the spirit of Eau Claire. Olson's in downtown still served ice cream, a run-in with a good friend at Festival Grocery Store, purchasing a whole grocery cart of apples, a tubing trip down the Chippewa River, and taking walks through the cemetery show so many examples of how the narrator, Matthew's pandemic life, was eventful. The comic is drawn in black and white and uses half-page comic panels. The characters are all drawn in detailed stick figure style. Relive events from over the last 2 years, just in time for the new year, and read Stick Figure Apocalypse by Matt Davis, rated E.
And that was Quai's feature. Thank you very much for that, little Quai. You're such a good little person with your features. You're going along so well. Alright, so next up we have Gumwallace and his music. So, Gumwallace's theme for this week was Giovanni Vigilante. Catchy bass notes, strings echoing like percussion, leading us up bouncing purple steps into an orange cloudy sunset-lit sky. This tune moves ever onwards, always right, like a 16-bit side-scrolling fighter towards inevitable confrontation with a level boss. We best him easily and keep rolling ever on. So, take it away, Gumwallace, with Giovanni Vigilante. Was the theme to Giovanni Vigilante, which was the comic I featured last week. Great bit of synergy there, which is by Uri K. GP, and it's rated E for everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Gumwallace is such a great themer.
Thema.
You're nothing but a themer.
It's anathema to me.
Anathema. Oh, geez, that's so clever.
I think I'll have to look up that word and make sure I'm using it properly.
You're an anathema to me, Baines.
Yes. Thema in Greek means victim.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys knew that. Terrence, you knew that, but it does.
That's a new one to her.
Greek to me, she says.
It's all Greek to me, all of it.
You know the entire Greek alphabet, by the way?
I so happen to know most of it. I mean,
good. It's pretty good.
Alpha, beta, delta, gamma.
Delta.
Oh shit, I can't remember.
Gamma, delta.
Is it?
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Gamma.
Epsilon.
Oh, epsilon is next? Okay.
Yeah. And actually, after O for Omicron, which is a thing, like there's a running meme now in Greek Twitter with the whole Omicron variant because no foreigner pronounces Omicron properly.
Of course not.
So it's like, all the variations.
Omicron.
Omicron. No, it's Omicron. Omicron. It has to be super flat.
Yeah.
Omicron.
That's my advice.
After Omicron, the next letter is P. So
P as
you
in
can run
pie?
away with that. Yeah. after Omicron there is Pi, or anything that starts with P. So yeah, Omicron basically means small O anyway. So
Yeah, that's the
to tell it from, yes, to tell it from Omega, which is the big O, and better not get to Omega, please.
I like the fact that Omega and Omicron are separate letters. That's like having capital, A in capital, and lowercase a is separate. And
It's
doesn't work.
actually
It's weird.
I will not go actually on anyone today. Carry on.
Actually.
Actually.
All right. Well, so what we're talking about, like, okay, 2022. We are in the 20th anniversary of the Dark, the venerable, the distinguished gentleman of webcomics. Unlike these young sprogs who are shooting up and trying to outstage us. No, we are the distinguished gent, the original dinosaur with a classic rock of webcomic sites. All the rest are like, auto-tuned pop crap. We are the Led Zeppelin. With the Beatles, with the Who. We're striding along. We're giants that all the others are influenced by.
That's us.
They're just...
Like we are the old school. We are the world.
We are the children. We are the terrible songs that you force your kids to sing in school so they remember them.
Yeah. And feel guilty for not eating all their food back at the time.
Exactly. So yeah, the 20th anniversary, my god, we've been around so long. So of course the site was started by Dylan Squires, known as Vault 6 on the Dark. And I think the name was some kind of a pun on something to do with electricity or something. I don't know. I don't understand that. Never understood electricity in a very clever way. Like volts and sixes, I don't know. Why is that significant? Anyway, he was the one who started the whole thing. And why did he start it? Well, it was like a project. So he was at university, I think. And like at a bit of a loose end. He started the site as like a project, like just a fun project to see what he could do. Because he noticed there was some comicers online, but they weren't really very unified and they had crap sites and stuff, and he thought he could do better, which he did. And he named the site after a friend's duck, a friend who owned a duck that actually died. So it was meant to be called Dead Duck. But that name was already taken, and the duck looked drunk when it was dead, so that's why it was called Drunkduck. Although we're the duck now, but we'll always be ducks. We'll always be, related to ducks in some way. So he started it back then in 2002. Just so incredible. And the site had all sorts of like weird stuff happening with it. It went on these servers that he was able to put it on, like all hard coded and stuff like this. He put it all together, and it was going okay. And he was slowly building with a whole lot of these comicers, and all the original admins started out then: School Monkey and Black Kitty, Ronson, Spang, all great people, all starting out on the site then. And all these other comicers that were around, like Kevin Heyman? Yeah, Kevin Heyman. And Trantor. And several others. I can't really remember all of them. I think Amelius came on very early on. I'm not sure if she came in 2002, but she, Charby the Vampire is one of the earliest comics on the site. So yeah, the site was chugging along, and then he instituted this thing called the Platinum system. It had nothing to do with Platinum Comics, which bought up the site in about 2000 like 6 or something like that. I can't remember. But so he had this platinum thing where you'd pay $10 a year. Okay, 2007. So you'd pay $10,000 a year. You'd pay $10 a year, and what that would mean is, well, back then web space was really expensive. So if you weren't updating your comic, it would automatically be deleted after 6 months. It would just automatically delete, and you wouldn't have a comic anymore. But if you paid $10 a year, your comic wouldn't be automatically deleted. It would stay up on the site for as long as, you wanted it to. So you didn't have to keep on updating it, which was a good system. And the $10 a year also meant that you'd get little asterisks next to your name in the recently updated listings. So you would be a little bit of a status thing, and people would click on it because, this person is a supporter of the site. And it would also be a badge on your comic, because we didn't have profiles back then. We just had comics. If you wanted a new comic, you'd have to start a new profile. You'd have to start a new account. It was weird. You couldn't have multiple kind of things going on. It's a strange system. I think, my memory, for a long time ago, is a bit fuzzy. Anyway, so yeah, you had all that kind of stuff. You also had duck bucks and cookies. So you'd all get a set amount of cookies every month, depending on how many comics you had. And then you could give those cookies away to people who are commenters on your comic. If you liked the comments, you could give them cookies, which was a cool thing. And there was also duck bucks, I think, or duck bills, something like this. So it was money. So what you could do with those, say you could gamble your cookies if you had enough of them to get duck bills. So that would be a kind of funny money kind of thing. And with that money, you could buy stuff on this special prize page that the site had, where people had donated programs, anime DVDs, drawing programs, stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome. You had the store and everything, and this was way back in 2002, 2003, 2004, that time period, way back then. So it was the
Wild West.
Yeah, but it was ahead of its time. It really was.
Wow.
It was so clever. But the site had always had this system where, unlike KeenSpace, which was sort of started out at the same time, KeenSpace and KeenSpot, they had a 2-tier system. So if you got you started out on KeenSpace, that was their free host. But if you got selected, you'd be in the private gated community of KeenSpot. And you didn't mix with those dirty little scumbags in KeenSpace. You only talked with your own elite group in the KeenSpot.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to admit someone new to the KeenSpace group, they had to have a little conclave, a meeting. And they would go, oh, now what do you think of this person? I don't think he's worthy. I don't think she's worthy to join our group. And they would, exclude people. So it would be a bit of a weird system there. So the duck was more egalitarian. Well, Drunkduck was more egalitarian, because we never had that kind of 2-tiered system. You're either in Drunkduck or you're not in Drunkduck. And say if you paid the $10 to have, the platinum status, that would only give you those little asterisks and the ability to not have your comic deleted. It didn't give you any other special kind of stuff, so it didn't really pull you ahead in any other ways. So you still stayed in an egalitarian site. So it was really good. It was a good alternative to that kind of system, which was a bit toxic. A lot of people found it that way on KeenSpace and KeenSpot. And that was why they actually changed themselves to Comic Genesis. KeenSpot changed to Comic Genesis because the KeenSpace people didn't want to be confused with the KeenSpot people. They wanted a nice, the separation to be even clearer between them, which I found, oh my God, it was just so, what? You're just turning it into some kind of Brave New World system there. Wow, guys, seriously. So yeah, that was pretty nasty. Exactly, the We Are Special thing. So Oh. But yeah, Drunkduck stayed nice and strong, and then we got bought out by this guy. What was his name? Scott Rosenberg, I think. Scott Rosenberg. So he was this guy who was a bit of a Hollywood producer sort of character. He was the guy behind Men in Black, I think, maybe. I'm not sure. Some kind of big movie. He sort of got done. He was a part of that. Pretty sure Men in Black. And yeah. So he got, movies done, and there was all this kind of stuff, and that company was called Platinum Comics. Nothing to do with the Platinum kind of thing we already had going. This was a new kind of Platinum Comics. So that company gave Dylan lots of money. It gave him a job, so he was able to use Drunkduck to become a real professional in the programming community, which was fantastic. He was CEO of the Duck, which was so cool. And so yeah, that was an awesome kind of position. So that was a huge step up for him. And the site went through all sorts of weird changes. Initially it was pretty small, but then there was some kind of huge changes, and we were promoting professional comics. We had this comic book challenge where there were if you competed to have this professional kind of status or whatever, you could have your comic sponsored. You'd be getting money. You'd be paid to put your comic on the site. And I think who won that? This DJ Kaufman, but with Hero by Night. So he won one of the first ones of that, and someone else won another one. So, and he had that comic options, and he was going to have a TV show made of his comic and everything. So it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the negative side of that was that was a very corporate company. They were pushing us in directions that we didn't necessarily want to go. They were using the site to promote stuff more than, over the top of what, just normal Drunkduck members were doing. We had advertising on the site, and it wasn't like advertising for comics we have now. It was general kind of advertising for all sorts of crap. And that made us a bit cheap looking.
Yeah.
And there were video ads, and yeah, it was getting a bit extreme. And Scott Rosenberg was just using us to promote this movie that he wanted done, which was Cowboys and Aliens. So Cowboys and Aliens, of course, was a big Hollywood movie that started out on Drunkduck, and which is quite interesting. The comic version of that was on Drunkduck. They also sold those comics, with advertising Drunkduck as well in Comic-Con. And all sorts of things, all in comic book shops. So, yeah, the Drunkduck had all sorts of real world presence way before this frickin' webtoons and Tapas and all that. Drunkduck had a finger, had a foot in every kind of world. We were in movies and TV and comic book stuff. This was all Drunkduck. But yeah, then the GFC hit, global financial crisis, and there was a huge collapse in the value of everything. And Drunkduck was sort of sold to Brian Altoinian and Wowio, and he was a pretty good guy, but he had his finger in a number of different pies as well, so he really couldn't give Drunkduck the kind of front and center kind of area that it should be. It was one small part of this stuff that he was doing. And there were also this new comic site, WeVault, that was being done, and WeVault and Drunkduck were sort of weird kind of twins, and no one was using WeVault because it was too complicated. It wasn't very sleek, wasn't that well engineered. So yeah, it was sort of weird. But through all that, and through about Brian Altoinian, and Wowio owning the Duck, we had the new kind of coding, and so Drunkduck was finally had a bit of a facelift. but then the financial woes hit and that couldn't be completed, so it was sort of this, we were kind of left in the lurch. But other cool things had happened as well, because I got to go to the United States, go to Comic-Con, go to this fantastic yacht party with the WowIO people, and meet Drunkduckers in the United States, which was so cool. And I met Drunkduckers all over the place over there, which was just amazing. I met Eisenbach, he used to be on the site, and she still is occasionally. Still friends with her on Facebook. And I met who else? Jimmy Purcell, who was a comicer. Can't remember his name. It was Jimmy or something. Nightmare Lunatic. She was on the site as well. She still is, actually. She does odd days. And yeah, a few other people. Hyena Hell, met her. She was really cool. So yeah, but then the global financial crisis sort of collapsed everything, and the site was really teetering, and then there was mismanagement at WowIO because they didn't have enough money to really manage stuff, and then the site sort of just absolutely shut the bed and collapsed, and went into just disappeared totally. We actually got deleted off the servers through because so the guy who was managing Drunkduck was this sort of fellow who was not really that good at doing it. And he messed up. And he messed up so bad. And he messed up so bad that he lost his job at WowIO. And I took over managing, the site. And I got full responsibility, absolutely, completely full responsibility to handle everything. And then, of course, I got had to enlist the help of programmers and all sorts of things. And Just No Point was this amazing dude who came to the rescue to do programming, and we managed to get the site off the ground again. But that's why Tapas and Webtoons and stuff like that were able to steal the lead from us in the webcomic world, because we were dead, absolutely dead. And not only were we dead, we lost the rights to the Drunkduck URL, so that didn't go anywhere. So the URL which we had been known by for 10 years went nowhere. Now it does point to our site again, but yeah, back then, even though we finally got the site online again, maybe it took like a couple of months or something for us to come back, which is an eternity in the online world. So that's one of the biggest reasons we were dead. Our URL, which we were known for, was dead for even longer than that. So yeah, that was a huge disaster for us. But we came back, and I think stronger in a lot of ways. So even though we were sleeker and slimmer and we'd lost a lot of weight, we were stronger. We were way more stable than we had been for years. And even now, I would hazard to guess that we were a lot more stable and stronger than almost any webcomic site online, because of the way we're structured, with backups and artwork hosted on Amazon web servers and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if any of the other sites are as strongly hosted as us. I think they're just more cheaply hosted. So yeah, Drunkduck is an expensive site to manage, but we're rock solid and we're great. So we've come into the year 2022, and hopefully we'll be able to be even stronger, because we've still got our facelift plans on the back burner. We don't know if they'll happen. There's a few different ways they might happen, especially with the Drunkduck anthology as well, that great people have all got together to organize for us to raise money. And we've got a few other kind of ways that might possibly eventuate too, but we'll see. We'll see in the future. 2022 might be our year, I think. What do you reckon, guys?
I've got a feeling this year's for the Drunkduck.
Everything's coming up Drunkduck.
I will just keep my fingers crossed. In true Greek fashion, I will never say what I actually think. and not jinx
Yeah.
But we have eternal on the internet, and why would that change? So
Yeah, we have a very strong presence. We've been around for so long.
Yeah, I mean, you like Tense just wrote us like a few months or 6 months or however long the Duck was shut down, which felt like forever as someone who had comics on the Duck, still does, of course.
Mhm.
That just felt like forever, and it was so great when it came back. But yeah, I mean, 20 years in internet time. Oh my lord,
Yeah.
it's like
it's
like
like
158 years.
no, it's like we were around for the pyramids of Giza to be built.
Yes.
We're still
True.
here. That's how long it feels on long years.
Yeah, you know
Yes.
what? Drunkduck is like ancient Greece, the early days of Drunkduck. And so Spang and Ronson and Black Kitty, Skull Monkey, they're like the ancient gods in our legends. Or they're like Achilles and...
They're the Titans. No, they are the Titans. Okay, they were the first generation of guns. Now we
Kronos
are
and
on
all that.
to the second generation. You know, the new Titans. The Olympians are here.
Yeah, and I'm pouring golden showers on everyone.
No, that,
Which is so famous thing. So what? Okay, which gods are you guys?
I don't know.
Bane's always liked Apollo, I think.
I think I'm Adonis, but I'm actually Hephaestus.
Oh,
Adonis was not that. So
Hephaestus has got one of the best temples in Athens that is still standing because it's been reconstructed and it looks cool. It's what the Parthenon should look like, but smaller. So yeah,
Well, that's why you need a tradesman, my dudes.
it's like Hephaestus is the only one that made the sturdy enough temple.
So Tans, what god would you be? Or is that
Oh.
too self-aggrandizing?
I don't know. I don't think that any of the gods are actually grandiose. They are all pretty petty. I don't know. I would say I still have a soft spot for Persephone. I think I would be Persephone.
Really? I was thinking of you kind of Diana. Artemis. There we are, Artemis.
I'm not that vindictive, I don't think. But I don't know, maybe.
And as well as being a bit of an Athena too, because you're a bit of a warrior.
Thank you.
I don't know what I would be. It's self-aggrandizing whatever I think of. You know, I go, oh god, I like Apollo because he's a cool, sun god kind of thing. And then Ares is, or maybe I could, no, Ares is not really any good in any way. I mean, he has cool armor and a cool beard. I like his helmet, but apart from that, he's just an idiot.
Hades has a better helmet than Iris.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, Hades is pretty cool. Except the Romans
Hades-
see him as Uranus.
Oh, you really? Yeah, but Hades has this helmet that is magic, and when he puts it on, he becomes invisible and
Oh.
and impervious to any kind of injury. So
Touch my helmet. I don't know why I came up with that.
I can relate to that. Maybe I'll go to Hades. I didn't know enough about the gods.
Yeah, Baines, you can be Hades.
yeah, be Hades.
My invisible shield is my orange furry avatar.
Mm.
Old school internet. And
Exactly.
I am impervious to injury. I just sort of push the computer to the ground off the table.
You now also need like a giant dog.
Yes.
Oh, with 3 heads.
Not necessarily, depending on the era. Like originally he just had one, but the tail was a snake.
Oh,
Really? Oh my god, that's interesting. There's a statue in Fremantle of this stupid big dog monster with a snake tail, and I always thought that, oh, that's some kind of really bad version of a chimera. But
No.
oh my god, maybe it's a Cerberus?
Cerberus.
Cerberus, okay. Alright. Oh well. Okay, bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.
bye.